Hey, what's happening, folks? Shannon from Power88.fm, and I have a unique experience to share with you. I had the privilege of interviewing a couple of gentlemen a few weeks back. Michael Allen, who wrote an amazing book, life-changing book, about his experiences with a childhood friend. And then Alex Carig, the filmmaker, who turned his book into a screenplay and now a film that's playing on Amazon and Story TV. And I have the exclusive interview right here.
It's a film that shows you how the ability of water goes around things when it doesn't stop because a rock is in its way. You flow around it. That's what life is about. And we all do it. It's just that sometimes we just kind of lose track of it because of the, shall we just call it the noise and distraction in the world today. It really is about tapping into the inside before you can actually go to the outside. And I think that's how you're able to make sense of things as opposed to being reactive to it.
You're absolutely right. Water does not stop for anything. It keeps flowing. It keeps moving no matter what. It's going to find a way, right?
That's right. And you said a key word, the way. It does find a way. And there are many ways, but you can't anticipate it. It's unpredictable.
So we're here with Alex Carig and Michael Allen from A Long Road to Tao.
We are part of the Marina del Rey Film Festival, and we were selected to be shown at their 2025 festival, which includes both features and short films.
And it's a different kind of film, because this is inspired by a true story, right?
Yeah, yes, it is. After graduating with my master's degree in philosophy and at Cal State University Long Beach, I was in Southern California. I was born in Santa Monica. Very dear friend of mine, a childhood friend I grew up with, ended up contracting HIV and died of AIDS. And this was in the late 80s, and so the story is based on myself and my best friend. Yeah. So this is a true story, and that Alex and I then wrote the screenplay together too, adapted from my book Tao of Surfing, Finding Depth at Low Tide, which I published wrote right after his death. And I realized what the book was meant to be. I knew what I had the title ahead of time in graduate school, and I was writing so many philosophy papers. But then after his death, I knew that what the book was meant to be. And after that got published, then I went to Alex and said, "Hey, you want to write a screenplay together?" Because I have my philosophy background. I was a writer in philosophy, but Alex also had his film degree. So we went ahead and took years writing that. That's just a huge deal, trying to write a screenplay from a book. And so, yeah, this is a 1989 period piece film. I produced it, Alex directed it, and we're the co-screenwriters, and we pulled this whole thing together to make this feature film. And this has been 20 years in the making. And like Alex was saying, we've gone through from the beginnings of when we were shooting with Super 35, Super 16, film, and then the whole transition in the film industry. From the red camera and Jim Gennard introducing the red camera at NAB, and then all the other companies realizing they had to do the same. So now they have a big competitive market in cinema, digital cinema cameras from all over the place now, and you have a really wide choice, which is wonderful for independent filmmakers. That's kind of in a brief history of how we started off, and from the true story in the book, and then to the screenplay, and then to the film. Each one of those was a monumental effort in itself.
What made you feel like this was the project? This was the one you wanted to do? I mean, it takes a lot of money, a lot of effort, a lot of planning. I mean, I'm not telling you anything, but what made you feel like this was the project?
From the book, I write in a very vivid style that takes you into the places that I write about. There's some authors that will write in such a way that you feel like you're there. They place you into the scene. I thought I just had this crazy idea. I just thought this would really make a an incredible film, and I'd love to see this up on a big screen. And I thought we could continue changing lives, because I had so much response from the book about it changing lives from all different people in different walks of life. And so then I thought, I'm going to get together, with Alex, and I had just married his sister, and now here's Alex, had graduated from film school, and I just said, hey, you've worked with screenplays before, and would you be interested? And he took it on right away.
This whole journey began when Michael approached me and my late partner in life, Ginger Miller, to adapt his book, Tao of Surfing, Finding Depth at Low Tide. And we needed to get it from its literary roots into the feature film. And I've always seen this in a wide screen, because as one reads the book, one is literally placed in the world of nature, and yet it's among human beings. And in this case, the characters of both Rick, who is portrayed by Lance in our film, and of course Michael, as portrayed by Dayne in the film, which, by the way, the name Dayne came from his first son's name, Dayne. So I adopted that as opposed to using Michael as the character, because the key feature of this film was it was the transformational journey of Michael, and of course our character, as portrayed by Dayne, goes through that same transformation. And I found that to be very interesting as a director, because it made me realize the importance of the ability of one to be able to kind of navigate the world between life and death. Because we, as we all know, once you hit a certain age, you begin thinking about, what life is to you and some of the things you want to accomplish. And certainly with Michael, one of them was to dedicate part of his life to his best friend growing up in the form of a book that could be shared with the world. That is what intrigued me. If the book was able to bring in a lot of people interested at the level that the book was being distributed at the time, I thought, well, we are a society that loves the visual image, whether we've grown up with it on TV and watched movies. It's part of our our language as a society. So my feeling is this really attracted me to the point that when I began the writing process with Michael and in the beginning also with Ginger, it was enjoyable. We let the flow happen. The difference is we are independent. The independent filmmaker is, I believe, by today's standards, the true storyteller. I knew immediately that if Michael's book can strike this kind of a chord with an audience of readers, what's not to say that we could do this visually, not only here, but around the world. And now we live in an age where this is much more impactful, especially as we see the chaos around the world and the people that are in it.
Not only is this a spiritual film, but based on the way you just explained it, it was also a spiritual process. You let it be the process that it was going to be, rather than those constraints of money and time and executives and people barking down your neck and things like that. You just let it be what it is, right?
Mm-hmm. Well, that is correct. We realized, as we discovered during the writing process, that the Tao was the way. It was essentially our guiding light. And it never once let us down. Once I understood the philosophical flow of this, it made the transformative journey, emotional journey of our main character, Dayne, much more clear.
Michael, I wanted to ask you, what was it like to, I assume you were on set when this is being done. So what was it like seeing other people, actors, play out this very pivotal part of your life.
I think for both Alex and myself, it was a great joy, but also very surreal to have written words down on paper on the screenplay, and then to be now at a location, and then being with the actors, and then all the camera and lighting and sound, and being in a room with everybody, and then watching the actors, reading our lines and acting them out, and it just made it so much more real. It's hard even to put into words, because it was surreal. There were scenes too that I knew that it would be difficult for me emotionally to be there. So there's some scenes that I stepped away from, and and Alex is there directing every scene and doing an incredible job with that. And I told him, I said, well, I'm not going to stay here for this one. And he understood.
That was going to be my next question. I was going to ask you if
Yeah.
there were any parts where you had to just go, I can't, I got to go get coffee or something.
Mhm.
And the feedback from the film has just been phenomenal. And yeah, you're going to laugh, you're going to cry. It's going to be an emotional journey, but there's so many layers of depth to the story and to the philosophy that people are watching it again and again, because every time you're going to watch it, you're going to get more from it. And something that we didn't realize at the time is that even though it's a 1989 period piece, that it's more relevant now than ever before, and which is good for us as filmmakers, but it's also a poor reflection on society. That the society hasn't evolved since the 80s, and it still has so much to work through, and there's so much hate and anti-gay and anti-LGBTQ,
And it seems like it's going backwards.
Yeah, it's just incredible. I mean, our film is about acceptance and love and compassion, and compassion in medicine. It deals with death and dying, but it also it's a very uplifting film. I have to add that in, because the philosophy at the very all the way through the film, and then and at the very end of the film, the words that are spoken will leave you with something to reflect on, that's magic. And I know people have been talking about the film again, going to the coffee houses and just talking about the film, because the film is not something that you watch, but A Long Road to Tao is something that you actually experience. And
I like that.
we've always, as filmmakers, we have the 3 E's, which is entertain, enlighten, and educate. And our film does all that, and we explore so many different areas.
Yeah, and that is certainly a reflection of how both Michael and I grew during the process. It definitely made the script so much more singular in the way that the book did, as you experienced it. You're in nature, but at the same time, again, you're in this human drama that's unfolding before your very eyes. And one of the things that interested me, especially during the writing process, was what if something like this happened in your life? Was the big dramatic question I wanted to pose to viewers. If this happened to you, what would you do? Would you do anything similar to what our character does in the film? Or do you have other ideas? So it challenges you to see what your true values are in
Yes.
terms of what is truly important in your life. Because we all make choices, but you can only do the one choice amid the many. So it is about the way, if you will. And there is one way, and the other ways don't matter. Quite frankly, if you can grasp that concept, you'll probably relieve a lot more stress in your life in general. Because again, our hard drives on top of our shoulders can only carry so much. So there is a way to control it. And that is the wonderful thing about what the Taoist philosophy has brought to this story, is another way of looking at life. That's literally this whole notion of Tao has been with us for thousands of years. So something must be working. And to know we've incorporated that into the structure of not just the screenplay, but eventually the film, what was absolutely magical, because we became that philosophy as we were making it in the film. So it became kind of a moniker for us. It's the Tao of filmmaking. And
That's beautiful.
we found ourselves.
Mm-hmm.
And it's given us strong purpose in life to, again, affect society, especially when a story like this is definitely something that would kind of be good medicine for everyone in this day and age.
Yeah, and to add to what Alex is saying, it's so very true. Although while we were making the film, we thought we were just putting ourselves into the transformation of the film itself, but the film, while we were making it, was also transforming us. We were not only becoming just more sophisticated as filmmakers, but also becoming more understanding with Taoism and its application to life and to filmmaking, because we definitely ran into a lot of roadblocks, and we learned so much along the way, but also learned how to flow with things and learned how to apply the philosophy, to life and to the filmmaking process. And then
you learn very quickly how to pivot. Right?
Mm-hmm. Oh,
and
yeah.
then Mark, and then to one of the things you mentioned earlier, Mark, about the experience of the audience. It's very true that each person that watches the film gets something unique from it, and because it becomes a personal experience for everyone who watches it. And same with the book. The book and the film, it's the same thing. As you read through it or you watch the film, and you experience the film, it's going to change your life in a way, in unexpected ways, and it's going to be transformative. But it's also going to be a very personal experience for each person, because everyone has a different background. We all come up with our own lives, have different experiences throughout our lives, and have different values. And then when you come upon this, it's really interesting, because if you look at all the reviews, all these 5-star reviews that we're getting on Amazon Prime Video, people are writing whole paragraphs of how it's changed their lives, and that's been amazing. And now, so not only on Amazon Prime that we're available, but also a new platform out of Silicon Valley, a startup. It's called Story TV, STORIE TV. We'll be able to go on that, and then we'll be one of the major platform launches along Road to Dow on Story TV. So we're excited about that one, because that one's very interactive and really focuses also on the social media side, and you'll be able to share clips and do a lot of wonderful things. A lot of focus on the Gen Z generation too, so they can become the film is for filmmakers and for film audiences alike.